So, welcome to the first episode of my podcast. I've been wanting to do this for a long time. I started a blog a number of years ago, like lots of years ago, and I thought to myself, why would anyone want to read what I had to say? Or someone would look at it and think to themselves, who do you think you are? Why do you think people care what you have to say about stuff? And then I've had a number of people say things to me that make me think, some people actually want to hear what I have to say. So I decided to start doing this so that someone could listen to it instead of having to read it. With the blog, I started. I haven't written anything for a while, and I just put in a Facebook post and went away from the blog, sort of. For no other reason other than it was just easier in some ways. With this podcast, what I like about the way Spotify does it, I can actually play music in it. As you heard at the beginning, the music I played to lead in today only was used because it was a song that was popular and came out at the time of what I'm talking about today. What I Am from Edie Brickell and the New Bohemians was on a CD that I got at the end of my senior year 35 years ago. So I thought, what better thing to do than to lead in with music from that time period. So the podcast is going to be a lot of things, cover a lot of things. I'm going to have friends on here to talk about different stuff. But this one today, the first one, is something that I've written about in the past and kind of fits with the time period that I'm in right now, that we're in right now in November of 2023, which, like I said, is 35 years after I was a senior in high school. I have kids who I love dearly who will start their high school boys basketball season tomorrow night in a tournament. I'm coaching some girls who I started coaching when they were 8th graders 5 years ago, who are 1 week into their high school basketball season, their senior high school girls basketball season. So I wrote about something that happened to me when I was a senior. Again, I've mentioned 35 years ago multiple times because I can't even comprehend the fact that it was that long ago. When I was a senior in high school, right before the basketball season started, I had made a decision that I was going to work really hard that year and I was going to earn a starting spot. That's super stupid, actually, because you don't start working for something 2 weeks before that thing is supposed to start. But I was a dum-dum at 17. I might still be a dum-dum at 52, but at least I can admit it. So when practice started, I was giving my all. And at the end of the first week, we had a practice on Saturday. And at the end of practice, before we ran or probably shot free throws to run at the end of our practices, because that's how we did things, the coach said that he had penciled in his starters, using his words, for the season. And I wasn't one of them. And I was crushed in that moment. And I remember running whatever we ran and shooting free throws and then grabbing my things hurriedly after practice and getting in my super cool 1981 Buick Regal that was the worst color of all time, that I don't know why anyone would have picked it. Not to gross you out, but think of the color of phlegm, and that was the color of my first car. And as I headed home with tears in my eyes, being a big baby at 17, I had it all planned out. I was going to quit. I was going to tell my mom when I got home, my dad, if he was there, that I was done. And I romp and stomp into the house and I throw myself into a kitchen chair because that's where my mom was, obviously getting dinner ready or lunch ready, depending on what you say, for her two kids. And I tell her when I sit down, I'm like, I'm going to quit. I was told today that I wasn't going to start, and I'm done. I don't want to play. And I completely believed that the sweetest person on the face of the earth, my mom, was going to support me, and she was going to understand that her son was being wronged. And I had it all planned out. I was ready for anything that she was going to say. And if you're a parent like I am, sometimes being a parent is being able to come up with the right thing to say at the right time, even when you don't know what's coming. My mom had no idea what I was going to say when I walked in the kitchen that day. She had no prep time, no ability to think out what she was going to say. And she absolutely killed it. Absolutely killed it that day. And after I tell her I'm going to quit, that I'm done, the first words out of my favorite person in the whole world, the words out of her mouth were, "You know what, Tony? It's not all about you. It's not all about you." And I remember thinking, that's not what I was hoping to hear. And she's like, well, what are you going to do? If you don't play, what are you going to do on Tuesday and Friday nights? All of your friends play basketball. So, like, really, what are you going to do? Well, I was ready for that one. I had it all planned out because I had started dating my sweetheart back in July of that year. And I was like, well, I'll just go on dates with Rhonda. I don't need this. I don't need to play. I don't need to be on that team. And somehow she was ready for that. And I don't know, like I said, as a parent, as a person who's worked with kids for the past 30 years as a coach, 21 years as a teacher / educator, I don't know how she was ready to fire off the next thing that she said. But I need to pause for a second because the summer before my senior year, I was asked to coach a coach pitch baseball team of little kids. And I had built a relationship with a kid named Nick France, or Nicholas France, and a person who I named my youngest child Nicholas for. He and I had built a really good relationship over that summer, and he was a second grader. He started the second grade when I started my senior year in the fall of 1988. And he was looking forward to going to all of my basketball games, and he and I were really close. And after I gave my mom I'm going to just go on dates. I don't need to be around my close friends. I have something to do. My mom took it to the next level. She said, well, what are you going to tell Nick? Are you going to tell him that you're not playing because when you don't get what you want in life, you just quit? You walk away. When you don't get the things that you want, quitting is the answer. And I took that relationship I had with that little kid very seriously. That little kid is the reason why I'm a coach today and why I became a teacher. I didn't have an answer. And that's not what I wanted to think about. And that's not what I wanted to hear from my mom. And she was absolutely right. Those of you that are listening to this as a parent, you know exactly what I'm talking about. You have an opportunity to hopefully send a message to your kid that will sink in, that will help them be a better person. And that day, my mom put me in my place and made me understand that it wasn't all about me. My mom loves me unconditionally and has for 52 years. But in that moment, when her 17-year-old was feeling sorry for himself like a big baby, she didn't take his side. She didn't tell him he was right. She told him the truth. And I don't know if that impacted me in every aspect of my life at 17, but it changed how I approached a lot of things, and it changed the person that I am today. And I think, like I said, as the high school boys basketball season starts tomorrow, it makes me laugh, and I still tell that story to different people. It isn't all about you. It isn't all about what you want and your feelings. Sometimes it's about what you need to do for other people and what's the best thing for others. And when you understand that, not only can you be able to help others, but you'll be a happier person in the long run. And I'm so glad that I was raised by someone that told me that taught me that didn't allow me to be a big baby and focus just on what's best for me. Because to this day, I still believe it. It isn't all about me. It may not always be what you want to hear. It may not always be what you feel is the best for you. But what can you do to help others? I don't know if you stuck around and listened to this whole thing. I'm looking forward to doing this. Like I said, I've been wanting to do it for a while, and I have things that I want to add to it. I want to talk about music. I want to talk about sports. I want to talk about coaching. I want to talk about parenting. I want to talk about all these things. And I'm hoping that through this, maybe, just maybe, I can, maybe help you deal with what you're trying to deal with. I'm glad you listened. I hope you listen again. And more than anything, I hope you realize life is good.